They're attempting to be the Rays. Peter Bendix came over and he wants to make them the Rays. You want to know what the Marlins have that the Rays don't have? 2 World Series, Craig. So why do they want to be the Rays? Why can't they just be the Marlins?
Here we go. Craig Mish joining us, always making us look bad with the background there. Craig, great to have you on. You can follow Craig at Craig Mish. If you're listening later, it's Mish. You can hear him on Sports Grid, also part of Herald Sports. Craig, great to have you on.
Craig, and where is that? Is that Lauderdale? That's not Miami. You're not. That's clearly not Miami downtown.
Right. Yeah, good call. Good call. Yeah, good call. So I live in Hollywood, which is in between Miami and Fort Lauderdale. I did spend a lot of time in Miami, more or less grew up there, but yeah, now I'm like in between there. So I think that is like the Aventura area, actually.
Yeah, he's living that Hollywood lifestyle near the casino.
Him and Mike Napoli are living that Hollywood life.
Near the horses, right? In Hallandale, yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's right. All right, so Craig, we're going to have some fun here. We're going to try to obviously spin a little bit of positivity into what it's about to begin here for the Marlins. Let's hit the storylines. All right, 10 minutes, 4 topics. Perpetual rebuild, they tore it down again. New manager, who dis? Clayton McCullough, coming from a very, very winning atmosphere. So that's a good sign. Can the Marlins turn themselves into the Rays? Huge, huge question mark, but also massive goal, right? That is why Peter Bendix is here. They said, can you do that here? It's very close, Tampa to Miami. And that includes a little Norby and Stowers conversation. And then pitching haven. Marlins, looking for some starting pitching. We had Lance Lynn on the show yesterday who said they haven't called. So it'd be cool if they called him or other veterans for a little depth for that starting rotation. Okay, so let's start with the overall outlook here. Sandy Alcantara is coming back, but since he's pitched, Craig, he's missing some friends. What happened?
Well, they started off the season, the worst start I can ever remember in the history of the Marlins franchise. And, Peter Bendix, the president of the Marlins at that time, who was hired, recognized that very early on in the season and decided at that point he didn't believe they would make the playoffs, traded Luis Arias. Everybody else got traded in July. And then everybody who was, sort of left over from a veteran's point of view was traded this offseason. So, as you said, Scott, the goal is to do things very differently. And as we've seen in the offseason, you could hear a pin drop. It's been very, very quiet. Quietest offseason I can ever remember. And I go back to 1993 because I've lived here for a long time. So, yeah, their goal is to draft, to develop internal structure, infrastructure, data, analytics, all of the things that some people love and some people hate that we love to debate about. That's the direction the Marlins are going. And so Sandy will start opening day. He'll start against Paul Skeens. I think it's the best pitching matchup in baseball that day. What happens after that, I don't know, Scott, but that'll be a great day.
I mean, they put in Clayton McCullough. He's done nothing but winning in LA. But is there a chance, is there a opportunity for a manager to help an offense that lost Jake Berger and was already in the bottom of the league in stats? Because normally a manager comes in, you're like, the way he used the bullpen when he was over at this team, it could really help. But can Clayton McCullough help the offense?
Well, Eric, look, I mean, their offense was dreadful last year. I mean, I honestly don't know how much worse it could possibly be. I mean, people forget that even with Jake Berger and with Jazz Chisholm and with Luis Arias for a couple of months, and Jesus Sanchez and all of the names that they don't have anymore, they were still one of the worst offenses in baseball. And that even goes back to their playoff season too. So yes, he's got a very tall task ahead of him with this new hitting group that is there. A lot of data analytics and new ways to view things in terms of course, statistical analysis and WAR and expected WAR. I mean, this is just a new day. So, I mean, McCullough, from all indications, is very much online, Eric, with the way that the organization sees data and wants to implement it in the future from the major leagues to the minor league levels. They've basically wiped out all of their minor league coaches too. So this is going to be integrated from the bottom all the way to the top. And whether or not it works remains to be seen, but that's the attempt.
Speaking of the attempt, they're attempting to be the Rays. Peter Bendix came over and he wants to make them the Rays. You want to know what the Marlins have that the Rays don't have? 2 World Series, Craig. So why do they want to be the Rays? Why can't they just be the Marlins? Why does every smallish market, even though Miami's a big market, want to be the Rays? Why can't Peter Bendix come over from the Rays? And I know he's going to put his own spin on it, but again, it's Marlins, every team wants to be let's be the Rays, let's be the Rays, let's be the Rays. The Marlins have won twice. The Marlins have never, or the Rays have never won any times. So how about we just continue to do what we were doing, building, because they had Skip Schumacher, they had a nice team. Why do they want to start completely over from scratch and become the Rays from the start?
Yeah, AJ, look, that's the question that I think a lot of fans in South Florida have. They look back and they see they won the World Series in 1997. They see they won it in 2003, made the postseason in the 2020 season. And then you remember a couple of years ago with Skip there at the helm, they made it too. But generally, AJ, all of those seasons in between were pretty horrible. And they would like to have it a little bit more consistent. Now, whether or not that leads to another World Series, I think remains to be seen. But it is going to be extremely tough for the Marlins to continue to go about the way that they have been doing it, even with those World Series seasons, and compete in that division with the talent that is around in that division and the money that's being spent there. So I think trying something different and seeing if it works is definitely the way that they're going to go. By the way, they tried this several years ago when they bought the team and Derek Jeter took over and traded everybody that they had, and Stanton and Yelich and Ozuna and all these players, got a lot of young players back in return. Really, outside of Sandy Alcantara and at the time Zach Allen, didn't really get anything back in return for those players. So here we go again. They're going to try it one more time, but doing it in a different way. Again, the way that the Rays have done it. Again, remains to be seen if it'll work or not, but that's the attempt.
Two best ways to improve the young pitching that you have in a Meyer, in a, even in a Yuri Perez type of way, is to keep them healthy, but also to not overexpose them and put them around veterans. So do they have a good recruiting chip in the sense that they can tell a veteran, hey, come here, recoup your value, gain value in this huge pitcher's park? Or is it something that they're just going to say, all right, young guys, go ahead, play your game?
As far as pitchers are concerned, I think they still could potentially be in the market for one. It still remains to be seen if they're going to pull the trigger there. I don't know the answer to that. Maybe a 50-50 shot. But I know that they really like the first three pitchers in that rotation with Sandy, Ryan Weathers, and as you see there, in Edward Cabrera too. Beyond that, as you said, Eric, it's very much a mystery. So from behind the plate, as you guys know, yes, I do think that they could use, as we would say, a one-year mercenary, innings eater, someone along those lines. They still have time, spring training, even though pitchers and catchers are reporting. This is not unusual for baseball at this time where guys do sign late February and even into March. So I'm sure as the spring goes on, they'll sort of determine which direction they end up going from there. But they're very content with the first three that they have. And let's also not forget at some point this season, and by the way, I know he said July, but I could see Yuri Perez coming back sooner than that. And he's a superstar in the making. So maybe June for him as well. But yeah, I mean, that's not a lot of innings from the previous season going into this season. And so they're going to have to figure out one way or the other. They were starting anybody and everybody last year at the end.
All right, Craig, last thing before we let you go. I don't know if you can see your background when we go to a one shot of you. Do you see the background of yourself? I don't know. Can we kick his one shot around your little square? Can you see that, what it is?
No. What am I missing?
No, it's the statue. Can we bring back the statue?
Oh, the statue.
Please, in left field. I know it's outside, but
it's
can we bring
there?
back the? I know,
it's
but
outside.
It's not in the ballpark. It was like the most Miami thing ever. If you go to Miami, you expect Art Deco. They had the green walls, the aquarium. It was cool. Now they have the dark blue walls, no statue, and they have, I don't know what they have exactly. They have a roof that works.
The roof works. It's a beautiful stadium, but yeah, AJ, I don't think that's coming back. They spent millions of dollars to move that thing out, by the way. Millions of dollars.
Right? They could have bought her like a quality starting pitcher for that.
They could have got Barlow, I think, for that,
Yeah,
That's right. That's right.
But look, I mean, some people loved it, some people hated it, and a lot has happened in between then and now. But I don't see them moving it a second time. By the way, every day at 3:05 p.m. the thing goes off. I don't know if you know that. 3:05 day.
I did know that.
Yeah, every day.
Wow.
Makes sense. 3:05. That's the area code
Scott.
for anyone wondering. I do know well, and I do think it was super petty. Okay, because I know Derek wanted to, kind of had his little battle with David Sampson and took it out, but not worth the money. That money could have gone elsewhere, and it certainly did not affect wins and losses on the field. No. I am with AJ. I liked it. Derek's tenure was a failure. So anyway, Craig, great to have you on. Appreciate the time. Everyone go give Craig a follow. He is the guy dialed in on the Marlins at Craig Mish. Good to see you, Craig.
Great to see you guys. Thanks for having me.
Hey, everybody. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content.
We're back here every weekday, all year long, so do not miss an episode.
The videos are coming in all day. Here's another video you might enjoy.
Baseball the way it should be covered.